Buddy, this is Chris, and this is Bar None 11970, and I hope you are all enjoying your day. It is currently 5:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 20th, 2016, and I've been watching the Republican, the GOP, the convention going on. Pretty much, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know my political views. I don't like to be considered a Republican or a Democrat. I believe both sides are both part of a crime syndicate, basically. But I want to show you something that I find quite interesting. I think this is a bunch of BS, and I want to wait, of course, until a couple of people come in, and I will show this live. One of the good things about being my own boss is I have time to do a lot of research. And I've been listening to the CNN live cast all day. And I've been going and watching and monitoring the chat rooms. And I want to show you something. I'm going to do a screen share and show you this. Now, I paused the video, so this way for, fair usage, I'm not showing any of the video. So if you notice, this person here, Paul S., this person here, Hellbent, Miami Beach, a whole bunch of these people, they have been going nonstop back and forth, cursing at one another. Now, I tried to interject a couple of times in several different chat rooms, trying to get people to say, we shouldn't be arguing, we should be talking. And no matter what I would put, these very same people would just ignore it, which is pretty much bots. I mean, an average person, if you start talking logically in a chat room, eventually people will at least acknowledge you. And no matter what I would do, people would just ignore anything that was said. And these specific people, these specific people have been on for hours, nonstop, going back and forth at a bunch of people, where I think probably most of the people in these chat rooms are bots. It's incredible. I mean, I've literally been watching for hours, listening to the news and everything like that. The good thing about these live things, if you watch them a little bit too late, you could skip all the advertisements, so I don't have to deal with that garbage. But I'm doing this not because I feel like I'm either Republican or Democrat, because like I said, it doesn't matter who ends up in the White House. I mean, they're not going to tell you that the Federal Reserve is a private-owned bank that is owned by the shareholders that we bailed out in 2008, the bank holders. They won't tell you that the Washington, D.C. is actually owned by the Bank of London. It's not part of the United States, at least the United States corporation. They're not going to talk about, the politicians on either side are not going to talk about the issues. They're just going to fight back and forth. They're going to get people to wave their flags. They're going to say all the things that you need to hear. And when you try and talk logical in any of these chat rooms, they just completely pretend like you're not even there, no matter what you say. And they're hell-bent, which I find ironically, that's one of the names of the people, to just go back and forth and have this chat room be nothing but fighting. And it's just amazing how obvious it should be at this point. So when you try and speak logically, it's sad. It's almost like people are now computer programs where no matter what you do or say, they just don't even acknowledge any ability to even speak other than cursing out and fighting one another. I mean, I was even pointing out, it's like, is there any way that you people can actually communicate without fighting so you don't have divide and conquer? No matter what I put, ignored, and they continue just cursing back and forth at each other, and there's a bunch of them. To the point where it's like, how much of this stuff is actually real? It's actually quite entertaining. And watching CNN, you could see the bias. I mean, it's like, I am so glad I don't watch mainstream media anymore, and I'm doing this just to get the coverage so I can give my opinions. But the bias of what they're trying to preach, the propaganda is just, I mean, how could it not be easy to see at this point? How the media is, like, for example, I'll give you a prime thing they've been hitting on all day today since this started, since I started watching a couple of hours ago. CNN has nonstop been talking about the quote-unquote plagiarism from Melania Trump. Now, if you know anything about politicians, they're not sitting there writing speeches. They pay people to do that. She's not even a politician. I mean, Trump never was a politician. He's a millionaire or billionaire who's using his money to get to the top is the best way he can. I mean, whether you like him or not, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, he is not a normal politician. And I think that's why so many people gravitate to him, because he doesn't speak like the typical person. But CNN has been nonstop all day saying, oh, look at how this has been dragging on now for 3 days. And there have even been people on the panels that say, well, it's because the media keeps bringing it up. And I'll say one good thing about Trump in this aspect, whether you believe in him or not, I'm not here to preach any side of the politics, because I know both sides are corrupt. At least on the Trump side so far, and I haven't heard the Democratic side. I'm going to listen to that when it starts on Monday, because I'm going to give a fair evaluation from a Switzerland type of person, in other words, neutral. But at least they have the credit to call out the media and say how they just continually feed us with propaganda, and they just harp on the same thing. So if you watch any of the news right now and you see it repeatedly, no matter who they interview, they're always bringing up that one little fact. Like, I listened to the speech that she did. Even if she did take a couple of words, which she didn't do, somebody else, they pay writers to do these speeches. They don't make up their own stuff. So it's their fault for not checking, obviously. But to make it like all of a sudden she's a war criminal and should be hung, the way that you'd think it would, that was what the media was talking about, is utterly ridiculous. And I call BS. And it's funny. It makes me so happy, and I'm sure so many people will agree, at least that watch my channel. They are so happy that they no longer have to watch mainstream media news. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I'm doing it because I want to see what they're talking about. I want to see if anybody will actually speak some truth. I mean, they'll never tell you the things you need to hear. I mean, yes, typical fashion, you'll have the Trump campaign attacking Hillary, and you'll have the Hillary campaign. I'm sure when it's their turn, they will be attacking Trump. This is politicians. These are our representatives, a bunch of grown babies, which doesn't surprise me that the chat rooms are nothing but people. If you're an Obama or Hillary supporter, you're going to curse at the Trump people. And if you're a Trump supporter, you're going to curse at the Hillary people. And people wonder why there's fighting, there's hatred, there's anger, there's division. I mean, God, how stupid could most people be? I just don't get it. But yeah, so if you see these live chats and you see the live shows that are going on, if you have the time, and I do, because I'm doing this for a reason, so I can just not take a little sample of 5 minutes of what I see. I've been doing this for hours, and I will continue to watch for hours to report what I hear for fairness. And there's nothing but bots in these chat rooms. And if anybody tries to say anything that is considered normal conversation, all of a sudden the speed of the chat speeds up, so that gets scrolled out of the way. And I've seen it on so many different live shows. But the mainstream media and their bias is so ridiculous. I wanted to report in today because it's like I said, neither one is going to do anything to change a corrupt system. They can't, because they will either be executed or they will be convinced, or they'll just realize that their hands are tied and they can only do so much. And it's just, these are supposed to be grown men. They care more about their own images than working together and uniting. They're not united, at least not the way we want them to be. But like I said, they'll tell all the things you want to hear. They'll get you to wave your flags and hold up your signs, and you'll have the Hillary people hating the Trump people, the Trump people hating the Hillary people, and we wonder why there's divide and conquer in this nation, and why that's one of the oldest war tricks in the book, and to this day it still works, and we're supposedly smarter than that. Why is it a person like myself, who is a high school graduate, went to college for half a semester at Stony Anta? No, I didn't do any pot. Actually, I tried it once, and I remember as a teenager, I was 17, and I was going to college at Stony Anta, or Oneonta, that's a real name, and somebody had me try pot for the first time. I was like, this stuff's making me want to go to sleep. Like, what the hell do I want to do this for? I want to go out and party and meet girls. I don't want to be wanting to go to sleep, and I never touched it again after that. So unlike Clinton, I did inhale, but yeah, that was a waste of time. But I mean, it's just incredible. If you watch these chats, it's nonstop bickering, arguing, and fighting. And if you try and have any kind of normalcy in the conversation, you are completely ignored. There is no freedom of speech anymore. It's all censorship. It's all, you gotta be careful what you say. You have to be politically correct, otherwise you'll get the PC police coming in and telling you how wrong you are, and ganging up. There's a gang mentality. I mean, there was a person, one of my trolls, and I don't give them any credit at all, actually goes on, he accuses me and one other person, and I'm going to leave their name out of it, but they know who they are, accused me and that other person of being a paid government shill. And I'm like, I talk about, we need to change this government. If I'm a paid shill for the government, I got to be the worst one ever. Because all I do is talk about how crappy this government is, how corrupt the system is, and how we need to change it and possibly throw all these people in prison. I would be the worst paid shill in the history of paid shills if that's the case. But this moron uses that platform and then he says on the other person's channel that he wants to do he said I would never do a live debate with him because he would bury me with all the things that he can have on me, which I would love to know what that is, considering I think the last time he even got a speeding ticket was 15 years ago. No prison record, no problems in my life. All these things. I mean, the only argument he had is I sell orgone pyramids, which, by the way, the very thing I sell, I have a video that teaches people how to make them. But I called them out on his bluff, and I said, all right, because I guess like the people that were voting for the Brexit, but they probably didn't believe the outcome was going to come the way they wanted it. I called that person out and said, okay, you want to do a live show? I'll be more than happy to do it. All you have to do is, for the first time, show your face on camera, and I'll be more than happy to do this debate. And we'll see who is the 4-letter word, well, actually 5-letter word he called me. Yet to have a response. This is what the world is. It's all about fighting. You notice how on my channel I try and talk about peace and love, and I try and talk about how we need to find a better way, and there'll still be people that have been following me for 5 years wanting to threaten violence and start fights and things. When do we get past all that stuff? And you could see it here. You could see it in our own politicians. Remember what I've said about how the universe is made of energy and magnetism? You get what you give. You ever wonder why we're all fighting? You ever wonder why the politicians are always fighting? You ever wonder why even on YouTube, where you could make videos about makeup or how to walk a puppy, there will be people fighting? We're getting exactly the energy that we are giving. And we don't want to see that because most people don't want to sit there and understand. They want to be told how to think. They want other people to do the work for them. The average person is lazy as hell and doesn't want to put in the effort. I am now spending hours listening to these debates, listening to everything that's going on, because I feel it's important to hear it. And I will be listening to the Democratic debates as well, because I'm not going to sit there and pigeonhole myself and say I'm a Republican or a Democrat, because then that means I can only listen to one side. Do people not understand how they corrupt you in the system? It's like, oh, don't have a wide variety of choice. Only think the way we do and hate the other people, because heaven forbid they might have a good point on either side. They don't want you to think that way. They want the my way or the highway. And yet they go home in their nice fancy limousines, their nice private jets, and Trump came in via helicopter today. Well, we're all wondering when the next bailout's going to be, when the next handout's going to be, when the next recession's going to be. Because remember, for the past couple of years, our lovely president has been saying, and our Federal Reserve chairwoman has been saying, we're in a recovery. Where is that now? Where's this recovery? You feel like you've recovered? I don't see it. I see stores going out of business left and right. I see more and more people arguing and fighting. Look at all the racist stuff that's going on in these chats. And they allow it. And this is America at its best. A bunch of grown babies that cannot communicate like adults because, heaven forbid, somebody has a difference of opinion or difference of perspective. Instead of communicating and actually trying to learn to find a better way, let's insult each other. Let's use racist statements and wonder why our politicians are fighting back and forth, wonder why our countries are fighting back and forth, and wonder why we keep going around in circles. And people are sitting there saying, oh, why is nothing changing? Well, it's because people don't want to put in the effort. So I'm calling BS on a lot of things. Obviously, I can't do everything by myself, and this is what I keep telling people. 1 person, 100 people, 1,000 people cannot change the world. It takes unity. But yeah, there's people burning American flags. There are people that are shooting police. There are police that are illegally hurting fellow human beings, fellow Americans, fellow human beings. Do we forget this? Do we forget this all around the world? That whether you're white, black, if you're Asian, if you're Mexican, if you're French, if you're British, if you're Muslim, if you're Jewish, that we're all human beings. Is that too difficult a concept for people to understand? I can be friendly with anybody. If you saw my live show the other day, that gentleman, and again, I wish I remembered his name, but that gentleman from Pakistan, according to our government, I should automatically hate him because, oh, he might be a Muslim. Got to watch out. Because if you're a Muslim, I guess all of them are terrorists. You notice how they lump things in? Like people say this all the time about, oh, look, it's the Jewish people that are causing all this stuff. No, there are certain. That doesn't make it all. We have to stop this. I mean, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and it's going to be a self-fulfilled prophecy because nobody wants to do it because they're afraid of being attacked or ganged up on or criticized. Every opinion is right. Can we at least respect each other's rights to have it? But no, they got to fight each other. Just scroll down this video and just look at the words that he's saying from these people who are nonstop. Look, Paul's still there, still saying the same thing. He's been doing it for hours. There's a couple of others. I guess after a while, they might go to other channels. But it's just nonstop fighting. And then this nonstop ridiculousness, random stuff. Instead of saying, hey guys, let's communicate. Let's see if we can combine our intelligence and combine our knowledge, combine our information, and let's utilize it so we could make the whole world better again. It's just, it blows my mind, the stupidity of the average person these days. And I am so glad for the people, on the most part, that come to my channel, because you guys get it. I see it in the comment sections all the time. There, except for the faceless trolls that come here to say stupid things, which most of their stuff will never see the light of day because I know how to get rid of their words. The average subscriber that comes here gets it. There's no fighting here. You saw on that live show, there was a couple of things that we had differences of agreement of. Nobody called each other out. Nobody made fun of each other. No one fought. I couldn't even do that on my comic book channel. That's why I love my subscribers. You guys that come here for the right reasons, that you're tired of this BS. You're tired of the same old, same old. You know, if at first you don't succeed, try again, but there has to come a certain point. If you keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, it doesn't work. Doing it the same or doing it just a little bit bigger is not going to solve the problem. How many more wars do we need? How many more revolutions do we need? How many more riots do we need before people get it? I mean, can they get it? I mean, this has been happening for how many thousands of years, supposedly? The same thing over and over again, and we've still yet to get to a utopian nation anywhere, in any time that I'm aware of. I just see Corey C. He writes, bar none, 97 for president. I am not a bot, Chris. Dude, that is so funny. Oh, dude, you just made my day. See, and this is what we need in this world. You know what? Corey and I go back since about 2011. And when I first started YouTube, I had no idea anything what I was expecting YouTube to be, because I thought it was like normal life. You talk to people and you have fun. And he used to rag on me the biggest. And I took it so personally back then because I didn't know any better. And I'll tell you something. I gave him more respect out of any of the haters because he was never a hater. He just liked to make fun, chop up videos and everything, and I just didn't understand it, and I took it too serious back then. But you know what? We used to talk on the phone. I can't say we're best friends or anything like that. Obviously, we haven't talked in a long time, but I respect him because at least he had the ability to show himself. He never hid. And that was just so funny because I'm all this rant, I'm not even watching the screen anymore. And just as I see that, I was like, perfect timing. So, Corey, I'm glad you're actually watching my videos and everything, but that was freaking hysterical. So thank you for that. And see, what is so wrong with people laughing these days and actually enjoying life? I just, you know what the problem is? The reason why I'm so passionate about all this is the fact that these idiots out there in this world that are causing all these problems and causing all these fights and causing all this divide and conquer, they're the ones that are running this country and this world down the toilet. And that mad in the sense of saying, woe is me, or there's nothing I could do. Mad to say I'm motivated enough to get off my ass and do something and fix this. In any way, even if that's spreading knowledge and calling these people out. The media is a joke. And sadly, 90% of the people still listen to it, still watch it, and still believe it. And I'll tell you, I would run for presidency in a second, but I don't have millions of dollars. You need money. And yes, Corey, I do support the message. You can see right there. Dude, if you're not, I mean, you know, he hasn't made a video in a while, and his are kind of sarcastic. They're definitely different from my channel, but you know what? He has a sense of humor, and I can respect that. Corey, you're probably the only person there that's not a bot. Notice now how many times you write that. Not one person will even acknowledge you on that chat because they're pretty much. But you made my day on that one. That was just too funny. So, I mean, it comes to a point. It's hard to be serious now because I'm laughing so hard. But it's got to be a point where we got to wake up and we got to go to these sleeping masses, whether they're family, whether they're friends, whether they're coworkers. Give them a slap in the friggin' head and say, "Hello, McFly, wake the hell up." Show them examples, because it's our futures and our children's futures and our grandchildren's futures that are going to be the ones that are affected. Look at how much this country alone and this world has changed since World War II. Has it gotten better or has it gotten worse? All right, so Corey C says, "I am the only non-bot here, you punk son of a bitches." Yeah, I guarantee it. Not one person is going to respond to you. They are all fake people. They are all, oh my God, somebody responded. Oh, that's one of my subscribers. So there you go. Go on that screen and just shout out. Talk about the Act of 1871. Call out the bullshit politicians. See, that's making change. That's doing it something. Oh, God, I could just imagine what my trolls will write. But the funny part is only the stupid people listen to ignorant people that have no content that is credible in any way. So, you know, listen to Bar None right now. You guys are so funny. I love you guys. You guys are totally making my day right now. But look, it's something as simple as that. If enough people start saying their message, whether it's sarcastic or not, or just a joke, which I appreciate, it can make an impact. We have to stop staying silent. I want my subscribers to go on all live shows, and you don't have to promote me. That's not what this is about. Promote truth. Make people listen, because for every bot that's on there, there's got to be at least one person. I mean, I'm there. I'm not a bot. And I'm definitely not a paid shill, because trust me, I wish I was at this point. The aggravation and the frustration and the threats and the things I've had to deal with over the years, I should be getting friggin' paid for those things that I've had to deal with. But I do it because it's right. And more people have to start standing up. They have to make their voices heard. They have to sacrifice. Unless you just want more of the same. Because as I'm listening to the commercials that Hillary Clinton has been talking about, she says wonderful things that is a bunch of BS. It's like having your cows in an assembly line waiting to be slaughtered and you're petting them. What good is that going to do? and you have Trump. Who knows what he's going to do? But it doesn't matter. Either one of them, if they are there, they are not going to change anything. They're going to tell you, oh, we're going to check into it. You know, it's a difficult process. It can't be changed overnight. They're going to make you forget. There's going to be distractions. There'll be more shootings. So there'll be more terrorist, quote unquote, terrorist attacks. There'll be financial problems and maybe even a war or two to distract you and make you forget what they're supposed to fix. It's not going to change. And I think we should all be calling BS now. People need to see it. So I'm not going to make this a long one, but I want to read this. See, I don't even have to have my own chat. I can just read this off of here. ME501, he's another subscriber. Yo, bar none. It's mass one. I'm not sure what that means, but okay. But yeah, you can make a difference. Look how easy it is. I have 3 people. One of them I'm actually shocked about. That is Corey. I tell you, I love you, dude. You just made my day with that. And see, you could make change. All you have to do is just put yourself out there. So congrats to Corey. Congrats to Rod K591, ME501. And they won't respond to you. Watch. Tell me, if any of you that wrote anything in that chat, have any of you got a response from any of them? Notice how they like act like you're not even there? That's what these bots are. There are 2 things. Either a computer program or it's people that actually get paid to sell out your fellow Americans. Think about that. I mean, look up crisis actors if you don't know about that already. There are people that get paid money to pretend and lie to you, to make you think a situation happened. There are so many videos that show proof of calling these people out, and yet most people don't want to hear it. I mean, trust me on this, guys, girls. My life would be so much better if all this stuff was BS. If there was no such thing as crisis actors, if our government really wanted to help us and the banking system really cared and corporations were really out for the little man and we were all going to succeed. You know how much better my life would be over the years of the harassment that I've had to deal with? Oh, and Rod K, you forgot the 0, so you just... Oh, okay, you added at the end. There you go. So see that? Look, I got some people promoting me. Whether it's sarcastically or genuinely, I'll never know. But still, it's showing your voice can be heard. This day and age, we have a thing called a computer where instantly, like you can see here, messages can scroll by. You could do it at 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning. You could do it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. There is no excuse why people shouldn't get their messages heard. I've been doing this since 2010. I've learned a lot and changed a lot since the days I started. Trust me on that, I've grown. And yet, it's funny, the same people that try and hate on me are still the same person. And I'm laughing because I'm watching the scroll with all the people writing my name. It's friggin' hysterical. Let me see what he wrote. Barn on 11,970 for truth. At least I'm trying. You know, you're never going to see me read something scripted. I'm never going to have... You ever notice that even in some of the quote-unquote truther channels where they're talking to people and it's a very interesting topic, you always know they have to, in the middle of the conversation, like, oh, we got to stop for a commercial break. We got to stop for our sponsors. So even though we're having a good conversation, even though you might learn something, let's stop it so you lose your train of thought so we can go to our commercial. Notice you don't see that here? Yeah, you'll see an advertisement in the beginning of the thing because you know what? I spend hours upon hours doing this stuff over years. I should get something for it. I wish I could say it was thousands of dollars. It's not even close to that. I mean, I literally make about $125 to $130 a month off of ad revenue, and I'm keeping it real. It helps pay a bill or two so I can continue to do this. But I don't have scripts. I don't pander to a certain audience and tell you what I want you to hear. I speak from the heart. I speak of my belief. Now, that doesn't mean you have to believe everything or agree with everything, but I'm not here bullshitting, lying to people. I'm not here going to other people's channels and starting fights, despite what 1 or 2 people might want to say, because they'll always show one side and never both sides of a coin. And there have been times when I did something wrong, I would publicly say I did. People make mistakes. It's what you do with them. So I want to thank the people that were leaving those little quotes as I'm watching this, because I have the screen share up and just watching the name go by. It's quite hysterical. You guys made my day, so thank you for that. But it's time we call BS to the mainstream media, to our politicians, and to people who get paid to hurt our fellow humans. Never forget that. Whether you're an American, whether you're an Indian, whether you're a Japanese descent, Russian, Afghanistanian, whatever, you're humans. We need, I'm sorry, all of a sudden starting to talk Russian. We need to remember that. Divide and conquer is one of the oldest tricks in the book, and why are we allowing them to continue to do that to us? I don't understand it. Instead of my haters hating me, show me a way that we could work together and learn something together. What good is hate? What benefit does it bring us? How does it improve any of our lives? My thing is, if I don't like somebody, I just ignore them. I don't understand. And maybe it's good that I don't understand. So I'm going to go at this point. I'm going to continue doing my research, listening to what they say. I want to thank the people that made my day by putting those things in the scrolls. But it shows that your message can be heard. And it shows, I guarantee you, every single person that put that. Not one person even responded by like, oh, who the hell is that? They just ignored it and like you didn't exist. These are fake people on there. And that's why it's like half these trolls. I mean, you'll see, when you see somebody make a ridiculously nasty or abusive comment, click on their profile. I guarantee you 99 out of 100 times it's a profile with no information. No positive information. Yeah, they might have a video that talks about, oh, we're going to troll people and we'll say nasty things, but they hide. There's always a reason for that. Never forget that. And don't believe everything that you hear from these politicians. Please, please, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir for people here. But get other people that you work with or live with or love to watch these kind of videos. And see that we're not doing this because we're quote-unquote tinfoil hat wearing crazy people. And I love that people still use that. That is like so 2008. I mean, have you ever seen anybody wearing tinfoil on their head other than a stupid joke? It's so freaking stupid. And RODK591 says, at bar none, yes, a bit of response. Oh, well, that's good. Not everybody there is a bot. Obviously, we just proved it with that stuff. Although they'll now all think you guys are bots, though. But if anybody's still typing in there, so tell them that Barnon 11970 said, if you want a different form of truth where you don't have to fight, come see my channel. So, anyway, we got to stop being silent. We got to stop being afraid. Screw these haters that just don't even know we exist. They just there, and whether they do it for fun or get paid, they're ultimately destroying the very country that they're trying to protect with their briberies. They're just not smart enough to understand. You know, if you live in a village and there's a giant that needs to eat the people in the village, and you make an agreement with that giant and say, I'll help you eat the other people in the village if you leave my house alone, that giant will agree with you because you're helping his cause. But once there's nobody left to eat but you're next on the menu. So to any of the people out there that are professional trolls or professional bots or just doing it for the enjoyment of hate, eventually you will be eaten as well. Eventually they will turn on you when you are no longer useful to them. So keep that in mind, my little story I just told you. That giant will love the help and will use you until he consumes you. And by the time you realize you're about to be betrayed, you're already entering his mouth. Don't be that person. Don't sell out your fellow human beings. We got to find another way. Otherwise, expect a war to happen. Now, I'm not talking World War III. I'm not talking nuclear war. But there will be deaths. There will be wars. Why? Because we're all sitting here waiting for somebody else to make the move, and we're expecting whatever representative that goes in the next podium is going to save us. It ain't going to happen. It would have happened already if that was the case. There were far supposedly better leaders than the two choices we have now. And what have they done? So I want to thank everybody for your you guys are so funny. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this. Always leave your comments, because you know what? If you're a rational person, if you could speak from the heart, speak from your mind, you will always be allowed to talk here. If you talk like a 5-year-old that can only say racist and attacking comments, guess what? You will be blocked on my channel. If you don't like it, make a video and cry about it. I'll never see it, never watch it, because I don't care. My channel is all about the people that are tired of the BS, tired of the same old, tired of being afraid. Speak your mind. Because remember, I made a video the other day talking about the do not consent. That went well for a day and a half, and now it's getting about 6 views a day. I can't do it without you guys. You can't give up. And you don't have to promote my stuff. If you know a channel that's better, by all means, please do. This, to me, is not a competition. If you want to make your own videos and you can help and contribute, please do. You don't know how many people, like when I was on my comic book channel, all the few jealous haters didn't realize that I brought in at least 20 to 25 new people into that community that weren't going to make videos, but because of me, I inspired them to do it. None of them could do that because they were always worried about themselves. My channel was all about helping everybody else. And you know what? The trolls got me to the point where it's like, this is just comic books. It's not worth it. And they did me the biggest favor in the world because it brought me back here to where it's really important. I tried to think I could just pretend this stuff wasn't here anymore. That's obviously not my calling. So I love the fact that I keep saying I'm going to end this and then continue to rant. So that's just how I am. But I'm sure some of you appreciate that. And if you do, if you want to give it a thumbs up, you can. If you want to give it a thumbs up, by all means, have a fun time doing that. Doesn't affect me the way it used to, because neither way, thumb up or thumb down, that means you're still here. And that's the funny part about the trolls, the haters, the ones that have been following me since 2010. They're still following me. I don't even remember who half of them are, because I don't care. I got better things to do. I'm here for the guys and girls that are here for the right reasons. And the fact that you're still here listening says everything I need to know. So thank you very much. Thanks for the people that made those nice little comments in the chat section. You guys made my day. I'm going to continue to do my research with all this stuff, and let's see what happens. So we could sit back and let everybody else, change the world, or we could be a part of it. That's up to you. I hope you do the right thing. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have a great day.